Hello, my friends. It is I, Alphinius Goo, and I am here at Gooey headquarters for the show Goo Morning Zyathé with a very stressed out camera Mandy this morning. Being stressed out camera Mandy.
I think I just accidentally muted you. I think we have audio.
Do we have audio?
Do we have... Okay, guys, here's the deal. Remember last week when I was like, keep it simple, stupid? I then built on that to go more elaborate, and then everything went wrong about 15 minutes before the stream start. And so
can you hear me, y'all?
We are doing something new.
Yes, the camera Mandy's kind of stressed out. Right? We were supposed to not do it so difficult, but that's okay, camera Mandy. It's all good.
Yes. So here's the deal. We were trying to get the music. The music from last week was a little rough. It wasn't as what is the word I'm looking for? I mean, the music is beautiful.
The fidelity that
yes.
you wanted it to have.
Yes.
Why don't we let that go? Let's just
I'm just letting them know that there's not going to be music this week. But guys, you guys got to go check out the soundscapes. They are so amazing.
Well, hello, friends. It is good to see you.
Yes.
And we are going to do part 2 of the Vile Desolation today. We're going to talk a little bit about contributor submissions. We got a wonderful little bit of Facebook stuff to talk about from people who've been posting in the den and a bunch of other little things. So we'll begin. Are we going to begin with the Facebook camera, Mandy? Is that what we're going to do first?
I do have a bunch of stuff off of Facebook.
I'm excited for this.
So.
Yes. This is a discussion that is happening right now. Yes.
Yes. And so I actually I went through and showed the pictures even bigger. So that way you guys can pick. We are trying to decide on the which cover to do for our limited edition.
One is the limited edition and one is the
and
original,
so are you trying to decide which one should be?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. See,
yes.
The thing is, for those of you who are kind of artsy, right? The Queen and the Vampire, which is the one you're looking at right now, is a little bit more compositionally nice on the cover. Okay, so it fits better, right? So no, just stay back, camera Mandy. It's fine. It's actually better to look at it that way. So you actually can get they're more filled frame, all that kind of stuff. If you look at the other one, which is the Consorts. The Consorts, come on, camera Mandy, that's your cue. There you go. Yes. The Consorts are not really filling the frame. It's still a wonderful image. It just doesn't have the same kind of drama because they're a little further away. So that's what I'm kind of debating. And I have to make a decision on Monday as to kind of what we're going to do and the decision we're going to make. So we're going to figure it out. And on Monday, those covers are going out to print, which is really exciting, right? So we're actually in layout on the Essenverd book. And it is, I think, on page 120 or something like that. And so we're pretty excited about it. Yeah, this is Bloody Beard's Gold. It's a tale that's told by a wonderful bard who is also one of our characters. So this is this is pretty fun. Anyway, that's what's going on with the Essenverd. And we also have the map packs, which we're working on those as well. So we'll
stay over with the Essenverd.
We'll be keeping you posted on all that stuff. What's next, camera Mandy?
Yeah, next up, I was going to show D20 Sounds. They're the ones who did the music for these episodes, Martin. And my apologies that we're not able to show off his stuff this week like I was hoping. But please go check out his music. It is phenomenal and will really create a special atmosphere for your games.
Yeah, and really nice. Martin, thank you for sharing them with us so that we can actually use them in the stream and all that stuff. That is a wonderful thing. But we will try to get this figured out so we can run this music and have it really work well for you.
Yes, we just need a lot more time with testing and equipment and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll get there. Okay, so next up we have Rob.
Oh, yeah, Rob. So Rob has been doing this sort of dungeon tutor thing, and he's done a couple of things about Gooey Cube, and he's done some other stuff. And we want to just give him a little bit of love because he's like some of our other folks who are streaming, right? So the Misfits and the Uncanny Pros and the Roll Hit Die folks and some others, right? I think Ben is redoing his stream here pretty soon in Germany.
And this what's cool about this? It's actually not a stream.
I know it's a video.
But his videos are they're not games. They're focused on how to run games, correct. And it's not just Gooey Cube, but there is a lot of Gooey Cube on there, and he has some really excellent tips for how to run Gooey Cube games.
Yeah, we like what Rob's doing. It's wonderful. Thank you, Rob, very, very much.
Yes.
Let's go on, camera Mandy.
So Chad is someone that I met at Gamehole Con.
Yes, you met him at Gamehole.
And he has been posting some awesome stuff in the Discord
about
channel.
Zender. Yes.
Yes.
One of his characters.
Yes. But he finally got his first chapter. Well, not finally. It didn't take that long. It was like a week from when he ordered it from Gamehole Con. The Darkest Dream, and he's super excited to start running it. So, yeah. So we always love seeing you guys when you guys get your loot.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Chad, thank you for all the fun you've been bringing already. And of course, this is Jolly, right? So this is Keith. And Keith did one portrait a long time ago of a character named Azon, who is a Sarth. But Keith also wanted to do, I guess this is a character he's had for a long, long time, and it's more based on himself and the kind of person that he is and all that stuff. And so we are pleased to have Jolly a part of the Weirded World. Nice job, Keith. It's great. And TJ did this. It's a really good piece of
I
art.
love this art.
Yeah,
I think it's excellent.
Really good. And that beard, look at that beard, cameraman. I mean, that is like, it's like perfect. You know, it's just got that perfection. You know, it's just.
Do you have beard envy right now?
I do have beard envy.
Okay. Okay, so this is actually a post that I put up.
Going to toot her own horn.
Look, no, I'm not. I mean, they're my pictures. But with that said, if you play with Gooey Cube magic cards magic item cards and the Gooey reward cards, they fit perfectly in one of those baseball sleeves.
Yes,
and
almost like we planned it that way.
Oh my goodness, gasp. And so I'm just saying it makes your life so much easier as a player or even as a GM if you want to put them all in there, so that way you can just find the one that you need instead of shuffling through the deck of cards. It just makes it so much more organized. And then
it also keeps them in better shape, right? So
absolutely.
Nice thing too, right? So they don't get all beat up.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway.
Excellent tootage, cameraman.
Oh, okay. Well, this next post I think is also from me, but
a double toot.
Hold on, go back. Okay. Oh no, it's not a post. It's just logo. Okay, guys. So I know this morning's stream might not make you think of it this way, but we are ready to take the stream to the next level with a redesign that's going to look really good. So we're getting rid of the parchment backgrounds and everything like that. That's just been kind of cobbled together. And our designer, Laura, is actually going through and doing a total redesign of Goo Morning Zyathé, and it's going to look amazing when it's all done. And
so yeah, Lolo, we really appreciate that you are you're doing this. Lolo's fantastic. She's one of our wonderful designers here, and she made this little tentacle that's got the Stein and the Gooey Cube on it and all that stuff, and it's pretty cute. So we're having a little bit of fun with that, and we really I hope you all like it. I don't know if folks in the stream like it, but I think it's pretty cute. So we'll see how this redesign goes.
The redesign is going to be awesome when it's done. It's gonna look great. So I've already seen a lot of it, and we're gonna have a little little spoiler, but we're gonna have a little Alphinius what do they call those? Emoticons?
Yeah, emoticons.
Yes. So it's gonna be pretty cute. Okay, so anyway, back to Alphinius while I get your guys' slideshow up. Would you want me to bring on Alexander now, or is there any other announcements?
Yeah, no, we can. I got a few announcements which I can do first. You want me to do them, get them out of the way?
Yep.
All right. So, my friends, we're on the Kickstarter right now. I want to just make sure that everybody kind of knows where we're going. We're continuing on this path to try to get some stuff out here in that first, 10 days or so of December. We're going to ship Interim to our friends in Europe and Australia and Canada and these other places. And then we're also going to be doing another shipment to our domestic friends. And right now we're working on a number of things. Obviously, the Essenverd is big, the Essenverd map pack. We have 2 of the new races that folks have. We are printing not the Dead and Fallow. Goodness, I wish we were, but Menace in the Mist and the Strangely Gooey Holiday, just in time for the Christmas holiday time frame, right? So that'll be kind of fun. We have that, and the decks, all 3 of them, the decks of Perilous Fortuity went out to final print on Friday, and so we should have those as well to be sending out. So we've got quite a plethora of stuff. There's other things too. The STLs are being released. I think Cameron Mandy's gotten 10, 15 scenescapes done, which we'll be sending out.
I'm up to 15 scenescapes.
Yeah, 15, and they're pretty good. So let's see what you think about them. So we'll be sending out those things, and so it'll be a nice. Hopefully, everybody will have a nice sort of Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, right? For all of you, for the people who are Christmassy people, right? We'll have a good time with all of these little gifts that we're going to be sending out. And again, thank you all for your very wonderful support. We are battling also on chapter 5 right now. We're working through that. We have all the artwork done. Encyclopedia Magica is coming along really nicely. We haven't started layout yet, but most of the artwork is done for that book, as is most of the writing. Now it just needs to go through editing. So we're pretty excited about all the stuff that's coming out. And Corey has helped us with the races, so is AJ, and we're pretty excited about sort of how this new race thing is going to go. And we'll just kind of see how it comes together. And I can't wait to put these in your hands to see what you all think, because this is hopefully going to lead into the Cyclopedia of the Races next year. All right. So that's a good announcement about that. Now, the contributor submissions. So the contributions for all of you who are on the Contributors Guild, the contribution is the location in the Gloomport, kind of an interesting location. Nothing crazy, right? No, the walking shops and all the, Baba Yaga's hut and all that kind of stuff, right? None of that stuff, right? So interesting though, and the Gloomport maps are coming together marvelously. We've got 4 of them near done, and of course there's 9 of them, so it's huge, right? And Darkenhaven maps are already finished, so we're going to keep pushing along on all of these activities and see how quickly we can get all this stuff out, even though we're a little late, and our apologies for that. All right. Let me see.
Can I say
what
something?
Is there anything else I'm missing? I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm missing.
Oh, no, I don't think you're missing anything, but I want to say something. First off, hi guys. I'm feeling a lot better now that we are in the stream, and it's going much better than it was when we were starting. So I just want to say another hello from me. Second off, I just
stressed out camera Mandy.
I think the word was frazzled. I was frazzled.
Stressed out.
Yes, it was very stressed out.
Alexander's in the back. She used the word stressed out, did she not?
Alexander's in the background.
We'll confirm that.
Okay, yes, I did use the term. I used it. It was very shrieky. It was very emotional.
Yeah, shrieky. Yeah. It wasn't tears, but it was.
Oh my goodness. Okay, but with that said, I want to say something. Alphinius has been working, and a lot of people have been working really hard on the East for Destia, I believe, book right now, and they're pushing really hard. And I just want to say, like, I know it's not going to be exactly on time like we were hoping, but I know he's working his absolutely hardest to get this out for you guys.
I'm working my Alphinius off.
Huh? You're working your Alphinius off.
Yeah,
that's like, funny. New
but
catchphrase.
It's not just me. There's other folks, wonderful Gooey, our Gooey friends that are helping, and it's like I hope it's going to be, as we go forward. It's just a team effort, and I honestly believe, my friends, a couple of things. If we didn't have COVID, like I said, in the first part of the year, and all the stuff that happened with our day jobs, right, we probably would have been very close to making our original promise. So we're going to keep battling, and we're going to get this out as quick as possible. And like I said, we're paying for some interim shipments to kind of make up for that. I hope that makes everybody happy. All right.
This is Gloomport submissions to be extended.
Oh, yes, I'm extending those. I forgot to say that. Excellent question, Pam. So we're going to do it probably, I don't know, maybe around the 15th. Can we get them in by the 15th and make sure everybody gets those in? And we got a nice little reward planned, and we got to start sending out some of these rewards. The problem is some of them were part of the printing process, right? The Darkenhaven submission was actually the governor's Isle map, so we got to get those printed and sent out. But there's a lot of cool stuff. So, and Jen, thank you for that. That's a very dear thing to say. Everybody has been so gracious, and we really, truly, all of us who are battling to make these materials, it is a lot of work, and we're not going to compromise the quality. And so thank you for that. So and it is the Gloomport location, remember, friends, Gloomport location. So and again, not something crazy. And what did Harry just say there? Was he giving
there's a coffee shop idea called the Wizard's Hat.
Oh yes, that's right. I think that is going to be in there. Right?
I 100% support this idea. Yes, I think it is an excellent idea.
Yes, thank you, Harry. You and this. Why is this damn thing sitting in the middle again? I keep moving it. Yes, this is the Alphinius that sits in the middle. This little Alphinius needs to sit over there.
Sorry for the minor interlacing, guys.
Yeah, whatever.
That's happening with the camera.
Oh, so yes, okay, there we go. Hello. All right, I'm there. Marvelous. That is good. Okay, what's next, camera?
Let's bring on Alexander.
All right. So this is part 2.
Hello.
Cue the creepy music. Right here comes Alexander. Say hello, Alexander.
Hello. How's it going, everyone? It's great to be back.
It's good to see you, my friend. So this is part 2, right, of the Vile Desolation, Alexander.
It is.
And this is, I have this in my ear so I can hear Alexander. Say hi, Alexander.
Hello.
Oh, you sound great.
Hi, you can hear me on the stream, right?
Yes.
All right, cool.
So we're going to do this sort of like we did last time. We got a nice little slideshow produced, which was very much produced on time and well in advance of the stream by me. So
I got it 45 minutes before the stream. I just wanted to...
Hey, that's early for, I'm just saying that's early for
It's not 10 minutes before the stream. No, I totally agree. It's not 10 minutes before the stream. So
yes, it's a quick upload. I do all the work.
You did a lot of work, and I appreciate that because all I had to do was download it and put it up here. So
so Vile Desolation Part 2. So part of this is this discussion that we've been having with wonderful Alexander, who is very, very much responsible for this marvelous locality, along with some help from some other folks. But he definitely was the driver of it. And what is wonderful is to like I said a long time ago, I had this idea about this undead nation, and to have it sort of have other people come and bring more to it and make it better and make it more fun and make it more interesting and make it more scary, right? All that stuff is a wonderful thing. So let us progress. You know what, Alexander? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of people in the stream. I just don't know people who've repeated. I don't know. Do we want to do an introduction real quick? And
we could do the quick rundown.
Just tell about yourself real quick. Just
about myself.
Yeah.
I've been with. I found Gooey Cube back in 2019 Gen Con, and I've been writing with Gooey Cube for over a year now, and just helping out in the community and building the works that you see. I've been running the module as well for my group, and we're halfway through chapter 4. So,
can the stream hear him?
What?
Can you hear me?
I can't hear him.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is? Is this pad went dead?
It went dead?
It looks like it.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Excuse me, you guys. Alexander, why don't you keep talking to the stream?
Sounds good.
And let me go figure out.
See if we can do this without me hearing Alexander.
I think that is a terrible idea.
Yeah, that might go a little bit haywire there. But yeah, that's mostly how I got connected with Gooey Cube. And yeah, my works include working on the West Verdesia supplement. I wrote the Bog portion of chapter 4, and I also have a part of the Essenverd, which I have worked on. So I've done a couple of things in the community.
It has to be on no sleep.
But yeah, so that's how I got involved. Oh, also, you might have seen me last week. I was also on this program then.
All right, Alexander.
Yeah.
We have fixed the technical difficulty. Apparently, this pad over here goes to sleep, right? So I've got to
you got to tap it every now and then, right?
Tap it. So in the stream, I forget to tap the pad. Can you all say tap the pad, Alphinius? All right. So there.
Oh my gosh!
Look! Every time we change pictures, just remember to tap the pad.
The pad.
Right?
Oh my gosh! Oh my
there
gosh,
you go.
guys!
That's the solution.
I can't handle this.
So let us get going so we can get this done, because we got a nice.
We have no idea what the last thing Alexander said was.
He probably said all kind of terrible things.
Yeah.
Did you mute my mic, or
you're just gonna have to go back later and find out what I said. Like I mean, I can't say that I didn't give away state secrets. You know what I mean? Like trade secrets either. You'll just have to find out later.
Yeah.
I will listen. I promise. Okay. All right, let us go to the Vile Desolation. Let's have some fun here. So we're going to go a little bit of a reverse and just make sure everybody's kind of caught up on the lore itself, right? So we can go to the next slide, Camera Mendy. So this is the Vile Desolation, and the Vile Desolation is this most interesting locality in the West Verdesia portion of the continent, where the dead are rising of their own accord. And today we're actually going to take you through the localities and give you sort of a little overview of each one of them. But basically, between those two rivers, the Ashclot in the north and the Silvershine River in the south, all of these lands have been permeated with this strange kind of affliction, if you want to call it that. And so today we're going to just go real quick back through just to make sure everyone understands a little bit about the lore and a little bit about the land before we do the localities. Go ahead, Camera Mendy. All right, so Alexander, just tell us just a little bit about sort of how we see this land. How does it feel? Go ahead, my friend.
Well, I mean, now It is dark. It is war torn. Well, it was once war torn. There are ruins scattered throughout it. You'll find the remnants of ancient battlefields as you walk around. If you're going to dig up, the ground, you're going to find broken arrowheads and other shattered blades. But even amongst these ruins, there are many residents.
Yeah, you said ruins, right? Go ahead, cameraman. We can look. So there's lots of broken down castles and towns, right,
Yes.
Alexander? And
all
these.
Some of them have been repaired to a degree, but it's only to a functional level. So there's no like or rather, I shouldn't say there's no, but there is very little put towards aesthetics there, and instead it is locations that are really ideal for defense have been repaired as needed, but other ones have just been left to continue to decay.
So if we went there, we wouldn't find an IKEA. Is that what you're saying?
No. Well, maybe in Covenant, you find an undead IKEA, right?
Undead. And of course, the most wonderful thing about the Val Desolation for a place for adventure, right, is go to the next slide, camera, is that there are lots of creepy undeads there, right?
Exactly. Yes. Not just organized undead, even though there are tremendous amounts of those. There are a lot of feral undead that roam about that are not corralled yet, that haven't been, herded back towards civilization,
right? Because as long as there's body to rise, right, they're going to keep coming, right? Because not all of them have risen all at the same time. So.
And there are numerous traders who see the value of trying to make a trade run through the Vile Desolation. It really is quite profitable if you can make a successful run. However,
especially if you're taking certain things, right? There's certain high value items, right?
Yes, especially if you're trading between the Republic and Magdranog. You have to be paid that extra fee for discretion and secrecy. You make a lot of money making those trade runs.
All right, let's go forward, cameraman. So this is Kalnovic, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna let you talk about him here in a second, Alexander. But he looks a lot like Alexander. That's because he is Alexander, right?
Exactly.
We took Alexander's portrait and made this marvelous character. So go ahead, tell us a little bit about old Kalnovic here.
So Kalnovic is a truly ancient Lich Lord, and he's one of the oldest people on the face of Zyathé. He was alive and actually somewhat old before the Woe of Ruin, and was actually a Lich prior to that even. So he's really quite ancient. But he is a very devious and cunning individual who has used the circumstances he's found to build up this empire. Well, an empire might not be the quite right word, but he's built this nation that is a safe haven for undead. Where they are free from the genocide they face in other places, as the way he would phrase it.
It's genocide, right? That's what he sees it as. Right?
Well,
killing these,
exactly.
Right?
I mean, Magdranog and the Republic both want to bring genocide against his people. So, right. I mean,
and he also he doesn't care much for the god Nocreus, right? The god of the undead, right?
No, he thinks that Nocreus is a bit self-important and that he isn't an undead. He doesn't really look after the needs of the undead as should, a god of the undead. So he kind of has to take up that mantle in a way.
All right, let's go to the next one, cameraman. So anyway, Kalnovic, just as we're talking about, so go ahead. Kalnovic presides over a city called Covenant. And Covenant has got, it's kind of got function, right? It's got all kinds of things going on and all kinds of stuff there. And hopefully, if everything works out the way we're talking about, right, next year, when we do the Kickstarter, the Dead City of Covenant is going to be one of our packages that we're going to do. And I'm come on, Alexander,
exactly.
Right? It's the
exciting.
Best.
Covenant's great. It has, trade routes. It has districts. It has all manner of things that you'd see in organized society, because it is a extremely organized society. Order is almost taken to an extreme that you couldn't find in a standard mortal society within Covenant.
Yes,
it's extremely orderly.
Now, one thing we're going to put in there, though, is we're going to put in some kind of organized crime. We got to figure out how to do organized crime.
Look, orderly cities know how to function with the organized crime rather than, they direct the organized crime into a way that doesn't disrupt, their overall function. That's how a good orderly city is managed.
All right, let us keep going, cameraman. Anyway, hopefully it'll be wonderful. Goodness gracious, cameraman.
My apologies. I'm not frazzled. I'm so chill that I'm just going to make mistakes and I'm just going to live with it.
So
It's
this
all
is
right.
yeah, it is all right, my dear. We're fine. The fearful lore. So we want to just make sure you all are a little caught up on sort of how this all happened, right? So pop it through, cameraman. We're going to do this kind of quick. So there are 4 lords of corruption, right? And this is an image we created of the leader of those 4 lords, whose name is Anarchria. And when the 4 lords of corruption beheld the life world, which was Zyathé, they lusted after it. They desired to twist it and warp it and turn it into something of their own and take power from it therein, right? And so what they began to do was to whisper in the ears of the gods of evil. And this ultimately precipitated and created the Gods' War. So go ahead, cameraman. So in the Gods' War, and we didn't get to show this for very long, so I put this one back in because I think it's pretty cool. Right, Alexander? It's a pretty good one.
Yeah, no,
yes?
this is a good one.
When I rewatched the episode, I believe it's the one that you said there's a great story to this, but I'm not going to tell it.
I'm not going to tell it either this time because it's the thing is, in the Gods' War, there were 8, right, Alexander? I'm not making a mistake there, right?
There were 8. There were 8 that were slain.
Yes, 8 gods
8
died. And there's tales behind that. And of course, if those of you with a little bit of eyes to see, you can look at the poem, the prophecy of Buno, which I believe appears in chapter 1, on the inside cover of chapter 1, which speaks about certain things. But we don't need to go too deep into that. That's a tale for another time.
We'll come back to that later.
All right, keep going, cameraman. So in this war, there was Flamarish. And you know what, Alexander, you could tell about Flamarish. You know this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Flamarish was the god of rot and ruin.
Yes.
And Flamarish truly despised the life giver. And he captured her and destroyed her utterly. He, essentially eviscerated her and tore apart her divinity, ripping it from her essence, essentially. And from that, he tainted it from the processes he used, and his malice kind of corrupted her divinity that then fell to the mortal plane. And it's kind of not quite right to think of these gods as having, like humanoid forms. It's more in a metaphysical sense that they, are destroyed, but her energy was, her divinity is essentially cast into Zyathé, the mortal world, the plane that we're on. And it was
in particular, right, in the Vile Desolation.
And it landed in where the Vile Desolation is now, and it lay dormant there for quite some time.
Yes. And so, for a millennia, yes. And so Flamarish, now, when Alexander says he corrupted it, it's not truly, Flamarish did it. He did the deed.
Yes.
But he was an object of the 4 lords. In fact, all of the gods of evil were objected, right, by the 4 lords, and in fact betrayed, right? They were betrayed. So
and it was that extra power that he was given that gave him this kind of, extra punching power to be able to really mess with the divinity of other gods.
Yes, absolutely. So anyway, keep going, cameraman. So Endriana, she was slain, and it is a sad tale, is a terrible tale, and it's also a tale of retribution because Jinx and Kismia, there's a tale about this in the lore, actually wreak vengeance on Flamarish, which is an interesting thing. So again, one of the 8 gods that were slain. So all right, so that is the tale, and that is how the Vile Desolation is. And sort of what people believe. And then as time went on, there were wars there, right, Alexander? So
yes,
first there was Magdranog. Go ahead, please.
Well, even before that, there were the local city-state wars that you'd see before, and it was a very verdant area, so it was highly prized. So there were a lot of small conflicts over it, minor lords, other people fighting the wars to try to take it. But then when Nordruka invaded Kalanta, and really when the Republic got its collective stuff together and mustered a real response, that's where the 2 armies came head to head, of the Arachnoids and of the Republic, and they battled within the Vile Desolation for 10 years roughly, and hundreds of thousands were killed there in a very short time span. And just, the bodies ended up stacking up. Every city and settlement there was sacked by both sides at least once. It was truly devastation on a scale rarely ever seen since.
Yes. So,
but
and then
it
in
didn't
the end,
last.
go ahead, next slide, camera Mendy.
But it
So
didn't
in the
last
end,
because
wait,
the
don't get
war.
ahead of me. Don't get
Oh.
ahead of me. So in the land, right? Now you have really 1,000 years probably of warfare, maybe even
Bloodshed.
2,000 years before the woe, which because
Yeah.
this place was the Etherns were here, right? And even before that, there was Vidogland and other places. They were here. And so all of these dead are now in the ground, or maybe in some cases not in the ground. Now continue, Alexander. Do what you get ahead of me on that one.
And they began at first to see small little groupings of undead, which is somewhat uncommon. Undead usually don't raise on their own. So at first they were thinking, each side was using necromancy, until they really realized that during one of their battles, when a much larger host kind of smacked into both armies and really displaced them. And at that point, they realized that the situation had become untenable and they couldn't continue to fight there, because everyone who was dying was returning as undead. And they were then marching on the armies currently present there.
Which is pretty rough, if you think about it. Alexander.
You're now you don't know where your enemy is going to come from next, and they can attack at any time. Exactly.
Yes, the Undead Inquisition. So continue on, everybody. Listen. So anyway, so then we want to do monsters because we figured we just incorporate it in here. So this is sort of the discussion of sort of what's going on in the Vial Desolation. We aren't going to go in depth of monsters, but couple monsters we're going to talk about today. So go ahead, cameraman. So this is first, we want to make sure that you understand that we're really trying hard to give game masters a little more latitude when it comes to monsters, and trying to give you more room to move. And so when you start thinking about a Gaul, which is the sort of the analogous to the Ghoul in Zyathé, these are going to have not just sort of be one sort of CR, and that's going to be it. They're going to have multiple sort of levels. They're going to have different kinds of abilities and things like that, so that monster memorizers and things like that, there's more discovery, right? Which is Alexander, I've talked about this a lot.
Yes, exactly.
So go ahead, you can win.
And even within the Vial Desolation, you'll see variety, like much greater variety within your undead, and also slightly different motivations with them. Undead tend to be less mindless just in general within the Vial Desolation. They're less completely consumed by greed or by like hunger or rage or something like that. That's not to say that these aren't huge motivators to many of the undead, but they are more compatible with society, which is an effect of the magics going on within the Vial Desolation.
Yes, exactly.
But there are many permutations of undead, even of the common ones that you'll see, and hopefully a lot of those kind of templates, if you will appear within the Covenant book.
And hopefully next year too, we'll also have Cyclopedia Monster Co, which will contain some of this stuff. Go ahead, cameraman.
Okay, so as you guys were talking, I was imagining this story of someone who had lost their lover in this war, going to try and find their undead person. That, like, if there had been rumors spreading throughout, like, is that something that could be possible?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, sure.
In fact, there's actually a small essay in the section about a father who lost his children to the plague, only to have them returned to him by the very generous Lord Kellerbeck.
Yeah, but it's really a drown. Kellerbeck just wants to take credit.
Well, I mean, he has necromancy magic. He can bring him back. You know what I mean?
That's true. That is true.
He has substantial necromancy magic. So,
but so like, what kind? Like, if just bear with me for a second.
Yeah.
Like, how similar to that human person would they be?
Well, it entirely depends, because it depends on the type of undead they came back as, and if they were Fazood or not. Or rather, a better way to put it would be the degree of how much Fazood they are. If you think of someone,
even then they won't have the emotions, right?
Yeah, they might see like small flickers, but it is very rare to see a Fazood that really maintains all of their emotions. Almost unheard of. But there are some that do maintain flickers or certain passions that are still maintained, but it is quite rare. Generally, you find that they have a much more detached drive. They don't have, a taste for worldly pleasures. They are, focused on the goals that they want to achieve.
Yes. So they would probably have a heartbreak. This would probably be a tragic
absolutely.
story, right?
It would absolutely be a tragedy.
I saw that question, Andrew. So Andy, we are trying in the mindless undead do live in covenant. There's sort of a domestication process for some of the mindless undead that kind of goes on to kind of help them to be not so bloodthirsty, right? There's ways that they manipulate the ghouls and other things like that, the ghouls. And
Yeah.
so just one second, Alexander. And
Yeah.
so they that process, that thing that we're going to kind of put in there will work most of the time, but it's not going to work all the time, right? So it adds to this sort of soup that's going on in Covenant. Please go ahead, Alexander.
Yeah, and a lot of the undead they bring back are also, they try to bring back ones that, you know, are more controllable, like skeletons, for example, or other stuff like that. Things that are intelligent enough to receive orders, but, you know, maybe ones that don't have as much free will.
Yes, absolutely. All right, let us keep going, cameraman. So this is the Malok, which was Scott. Scott gave us this. This is the Barrow White Beetle, Barrow Beetle, and they are actually a creature that is undead, and they have nasty stuff that comes out of them, and they are just really gross. And you're gonna love this creature when we do Cyclopedia Monstrica next year. So anyway, Scott, thank you. I know we've shown it before, but I wanted to show it again because we're doing the Vile Desolation. So these damn things are running all over the place. Keep going, Kevin. So Jim did a wonderful thing for us. So I know that many of you know of the Banshee. Yes. So the Banshee, that in traditional TTRPG that we play, this 5th edition, right? The Banshee is just a one creature, but in reality, in the myth, there's actually 3 different kinds of them. And Jim did a wonderful thing about helping make that happen. And so I think you're going to love when you actually see these 3 and how they work and the lore that they come from. I think you're going to really appreciate this from the Monstrica. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I want to make sure we keep on the Vile Desolation. Continue on, cameraman. And of course, I had to show this just one more time for all you grody people like that. Isn't that wonderful?
I should have put the picture that I took. I found this ball as a toy in the Tuesday morning, the store.
Well, why did you buy it? We should have.
Yeah, it's like, imagine one of those balls that has the dangly little plastic things, but they're hands.
I'll go back and see if they have
their
it.
arms.
I took a picture of it because I was like.
Yeah, well, Jan made this thing up, and if you're cruising around the Vile Desolation, you might see one of these come rolling by.
You don't want to run into that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, definitely don't.
There's definitely a few people's lovers in that thing. I have to go pull them out.
Right there on the left.
There's a couple of pairs of lovers, Mandy. Come on, you know what I mean? They get to be together forever.
Yeah,
it's kind of romantic if you think about it. It's a love story.
All right, keep going, cameraman.
Okay.
All right, the Vile localities. So we got about 20 minutes, Alexander. Here we go.
Yep.
All right. So go ahead, cameraman. One of these days, she's going to give me a clicker.
The Dark Settlements.
Is that the next one?
Yes. So there are, first in understanding, there's the Dark Settlements are there. There's Covenant. Keep going, cameraman. And there is Fallow, which is the object of one of our places. There's Mumberk, and there is Solus, right? Tell us a little bit about Solus real quick.
Yes, so Solus is the major port city of the Vile Desolation, and it is also one of the greatest concentrations of Hazood, and it is the main place that traders enter the Vile Desolation, and also slaves. It is where most of the slaves are processed
through. And adventurers, right?
Yes, adventurers too. And there is a famous, in fact, tavern there called the Shallow Grave, which boasts many drinks and other things that people can come and gossip and get jobs.
And that undead can drink, right? There's also
there are undead and mortal drinks.
Sour milk and
exactly. And I'll touch on that real quick. Undead, because their passion is really reduced, they have to have really strong flavors. So, molded bread or, sour milk are things they need to consume to get some essence of feeling out of it. So, they would drink vinegar and they'd be like, oh, this is very slightly sour. You know what I mean? They need this very intense experience to be able to feel. So that's why they drink things that we could.
Yep. So anyway, so as you're cruising around the Vile Desolation, there are places, there are literally settlements, and you have to understand that some of these settlements are maybe more wild, if you want to call it that, in terms of the way the undead are there, and some of them are much more structured and ordered as Covenant is, right? So
Yes.
So it's
And you'll find in
cool.
most of these locations some form of fortification or other, place for holding of armies. But yeah.
Yep. All right, keep going, cameraman. So there are also, I spoke of these ruins that are out there as well. And as you go through, there's places that are not occupied necessarily by any kind of Kalnavik's forces or sort of even under his auspices, because for one reason or another, they are just not. But so these wonderful ruins that are all over the place that are not necessarily part of the network, if you will, these are wonderful places for adventure and all kinds of stuff, because that's where some of these feral undead, do we want to call them that, Alexander?
Yes, feral undead is a good description.
Yes,
or
that's where
dissidents,
they are.
even.
Yeah. So go ahead, please.
Yeah, even dissidents or just like little people who want to try to carve their own, area out. We'll try to set up in one of these, and they last as long as they don't cause problems, essentially. Right. And once they start causing problems, they get cleared out.
Except for the one we're going to talk about at the end. Keep going there.
Yes. We'll be there at the end. All right.
Go ahead, cameraman. So this is the first locality we are going to speak of. It's called the Dunmire. Awesome. Go ahead, cameraman. Click to the next sheet. See, so I even did the map, so you don't have to scroll, zoom in, and all this. I mean, like, it's just unbelievable. Yes. So tell us a little bit about the Dunmire.
The Dunmire is great. So it is an entirely overgrown, extremely treacherous swamp. And it's really, really hard to traverse. And in fact, it even says in the book that Kalnavik tried twice to invade it because it is densely populated with lizard folk. And he sent incorporeal undead, and they arrived at the villages only to find them empty. He sent proper armies, and most of them didn't come back because they got stuck in the mud. He's still fishing them out from 100 years back. But ultimately, what he just decided was, he just sent emissaries to the lizard folk that live there and realized they worship death and undead, and they've just incorporated the fact that everyone comes back into their culture, and realized it's just easier to integrate them. So he offered them vassalization, and they said, yeah, that's fine. It doesn't really affect our daily life. So they are now vassals and subjects of Lord Kalnavik, and they pay a small tribute to him, but are actually relatively loyal because they actually really fostered under his protection. They were suffering quite grievously from Arachnoid raids, but with his protection, they're really kind of booming.
And lizard folk also rise from the dead there. Go ahead,
of course they do.
Keep popping.
And they have a slightly different view of life. They see death as just a rebirth, so personal property is very much not as emphasized in their culture.
Yes, Cameramendi, keep going forward. Are you listening to me? Cameramendi.
There we go. Vile Desolation. There we go. That is.
So this is a picture of the Dunmire that is there. Cameramendi is, I don't know what she's doing, drinking or something now.
I'm listening to. I can't actually. I have the headphones on because I'm listening to Alexander.
Oh.
So I can't. Yeah, this audio setup, just so you guys know, like, is kind of weird.
Hokey jokey.
Yeah,
something like
we
that,
are going
right?
to be
Funky.
we are going to be fixing this when we get our upgrade here. This,
So
by the way, is going to be a scenescape.
So when you look, it is the Dunmire, right?
Yep.
So when you look at this, right, and actually, I think I cheated on this, Cameramendi. This is actually, I stole this from something else, so we'll have to talk about it before you make it a scenescape. But this is, you can see how it feels, right? And there are lizard folk there, but there are also more. Keep going, Cameramendi.
Yes.
So you just got this feel, right? It's got this wonderful. I'm going to cruise through these, Alexander.
Yeah,
so
and it's foggy and it's treacherous. It's hard to traverse. Yeah, we can keep moving.
Keep going, Cameramendi. And of course, it has some ruins. Yes, Alexander.
It does. Yes. Now they are quite old because the flooding was not very recent.
Yes.
Yes.
It would probably, in many cases, predate the woe. Yes, so that is some of these ruins. Yes, keep going.
Oh.
Wow, Cameramendi. This is like
forward 3,
go
please.
Forward, Cameramendi.
Is this where we're at?
One more.
Going.
Yeah, one more.
One more.
All right, there we go.
So there are undeads in there, and they are not just lizard folk. There are undead walkers and ghouls and even non-corporeals, right? And can you imagine going through there and finding one of these places where a horde is all stuck in the mud?
Or maybe you'll meet something like the Wakabago.
Yeah, right. Well, let's keep going.
If you played Chapter 4, you'll encounter that terrifying beast.
Keep going, Cameramendi. So this is a swamp white, and we showed this in the den, and it is a wonderful wonderful creature that we'll be dancing with as we go forward, and we'll
quite
have a lot of fun with that one. Yep, keep going, cameraman.
I'm also trying to keep up with the chat.
I appreciate that. So these are bog lanterns. This is another wonderful monster that has been provided to us, and we'll talk about them more in the future. I don't want to go into who all did it and what it is, because I want to make sure we stay on time. Keep going, cameraman.
Ooh.
So there is also rumored to be in the depths of the mire. There is rumored to be this witch, and this is a story, a tale that may come out later. And some believe that she is aligned with Kalnavik, and others believe that she is not. But since it is a tale still in the telling, we will leave it just right there.
I will just say that
quite
this,
the art piece.
No, everything about this gives me chills. I love it.
Yes. Well, Kalnavik got to have some people coming against him.
Well,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's more like factions he has to appease. You know what I mean? He has a bunch of people that have their own interests, and he needs to make sure that they realize that their interests align, which is so that they don't become
unless
enemies.
Somebody just wants to be the boss over Kalnavik.
Well, yes,
right?
of course.
Let's keep going.
I have a feeling that she's not going to see super eye to eye.
So let us talk now about the Wraithwood. So the Wraithwood is, go ahead, cameraman, next slide.
Okay.
We're going to give me a clicker so I can figure out how to do this and make your life easier. So the Wraithwood is to the east of the Dunmire, and there is a lot of wonderful lore about the Wraithwood. And it is a very gloomy and creepy place. Go ahead, cameraman, you take us to the next one. It is a very gloomy and creepy place, and there is sort of an overseer there, is there not, Alexander?
Yes, it is.
Go ahead, tell us about this.
The Wraith Queen, and the Wraith Queen is sort of the overseer of the Wraithwood, and it is truly home to a phenomenal amount of incorporeal undead, and they love this place because it's always shaded. There is extremely dense canopy, and it provides them shelter from the light. The Wraith Queen is particularly terrifying because there are multiple reports of the Wraith Queen behaving in a non-local fashion. She appears in multiple places at the same time, and it's truly terrifying to consider what could cause that. But yeah.
Yes, well, she's aligned with Kalnavik, as far as everybody knows.
Very much so.
And also, there's a great tale. There's some tales about her when you read the Westford. So
betrayal, loss, revenge. It's truly great.
Is this our image? Is this our image? This is ours?
Yeah, this is ours.
Yeah, this will be a scenescape, guys.
That's what she promises. So it's not really a good idea to go walking through the Wraithwood. I found this image. I thought it was really cool.
It's nice.
I thought, imagine, instead of it being one person there, there's a party of adventurers. I might have to do an artwork like this. There's a party of adventurers right there, Alexander. Right?
Exactly.
Like, oh my gosh.
Exactly, yes. And the terrors abound.
Keep going, cameraman. And there are not just non-corporeals, right, Alexander?
Yes.
There are corrupted creations, right? Like this,
all manner of light-sensitive undead, but also undead treants and other forms of these kind of forest dwellers live there. Though we'll talk more about them in a bit.
Yes.
But yes, there are plenty of types of these foul creatures.
Yeah, we have verisimilitude in the Wraithwood. Just it's not just wraiths, right? Keep going.
Yeah, exactly. There is some diversity in there, but it is very hard to traverse.
Yes,
it's very dense.
And so we showed this is one of our pieces of art that was done by Benjo, and it's a wonderful wraith. I put it up in the den, and then the next one I found this and I thought it was quite marvelous. Go ahead, cameraman, because I wanted to give some idea of what she felt like. Right?
Yes,
and. That's a good feel right there, isn't it, Alexander?
It is horrifying and power. Yes.
It's I can't hear Alexander again. Probably because
touch the tablet.
Did you tap?
I've been tapping it the whole time.
Okay.
All right. Well, yes, that is the Wraith Queen.
Put Alexander
up. You
tell
keep
the tale
going.
of the Wraith.
I'll keep going. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that is the story of, or that is the Wraith Queen, and inside as I said, inside the West Verdestia supplement, you will see this story of a person who is truly aggrieved, who tried to do the best by her people, and was betrayed by her most trusted advisors. And slowly over time they become or they're met with terrible fates, one after another, murdered in their beds or dying on the field of battle. And this curse does not seem to end with the actual betrayers. In fact, it extends to many other people, but you'll have to read to find out what that is.
It's good. It's a good tale. You'll love it, my friends. All right, let us keep going. Is that not a great image, though? Just
It is
you
great.
get that feel. Yeah, I love that feel of that. So now we will talk about one of my favorite places in the Vile Desolation, which is called the Fented Pits. And the cameraman, you can go to the next slide. So the Fented Pits are just there to the east of the Wraithwood, and they encroach upon the fields of the dead, which we will talk about in just a few. Now, this is an interesting place because there's all this gooey stuff that is coming up from beneath the lands,
Yes.
and it has all manner of properties that especially knock alchemists and necro alchemists and knock alchemists use.
Too.
Yes, and necromancers as well. Yes,
and it's also the source of the most new undead, if we will. A lot of undead evolution, if you will, occurs here. It's sort of like primordial pools for the undead.
Yes, keep going, cameraman. Let's look at some images here. So,
and it is a most terrifying locality to visit.
Yeah, you want to get a feel of it. This is an image that we commissioned a while back by Ferdinand, and it's really good, right?
Unfortunately, it can't capture the stench.
Yeah, right. Yeah, put the smell out there. Oh my goodness.
There you go. I'd rather not.
What constitution do you have to roll to?
Yeah, you know, there's nausea here. There's a lot of things can happen to you here. Yes, I mean,
25, right? DC 25. Right. All right, yeah.
Keep going, cameraman. Let's look at this. The undead. So you can now. This is the thing. There are these creatures that are undead that crawl out of these pits. Alexander alluded to that earlier. That the pits have a source of, they're sort of a source, and these things that come out are scary, and they can be really scary depending on what type of creature that it is. So
yes, and sometimes some of these feral, really non-sentient undead are even herded into the pits to speed along this process.
Yes. Wonderful. Keep going, cameraman. And there are creatures there, right, that are sort of not necessarily just like some orc or that died in there or some human or whatever, right? There's even these sort of abominations that come forth, correct, Alexander?
Yes, and conglomerations of the dead or even entirely new creatures.
Yes, and they smell really good.
Yeah, it's truly terrifying. Yeah, the gods are uncomfortable, as are the neighbors. They don't really like it.
Yeah, that's right.
They've sent complaints.
I can't move in. I can't move into the Fented Pits.
Exactly. They don't like that he's lowering the property value. All right.
Yeah. And of course, there are other things like oozes and slimes that are there as well. But these have also been tainted, right, Alexander? They've had a little bit of tainting.
Yes, they are touched by undead. There are even some undead slimes, if you can figure out what that is. But yes, they spread rot and ruin, and oozes are really quite a hazard within the Fented Pits.
Marvelous. All right, keep going. Oh, Gooey Cube. That's good.
Yes, Gooey Cubes. Exactly.
That's kind of like Alphinius Goo, right? All right, let us go to the fields of the dead. Alexander, you ready for this?
Yes, I am.
All right, fields of the dead.
The fields of the dead. Yeah.
Yes. So in all of the areas of the Vile Desolation, no concentration of dead was as large as this area, right, Alexander? Keep going.
Yes, this is where the thickest battles happened, where armies after armies would clash upon each other and fight basically on the corpses of the previous armies that had all died there. And this is really the extreme concentration, and even 200 years later, this is what you see when you walk through there.
Yes, and
it is quite horrific.
That haven't risen, right? This is the terrifying consequence, right?
Yes.
You sit there and you're in the Republic, and you're one of the people in the Bunderland, right, Alexander? And we're sitting there, you're looking, and you're going,
they haven't
more.
I know there's more to come, and every day more and more of these stand up, and more of them come back and claw their way out from where they've been buried. This extends probably 50 feet down. This level of this amount of corpses just buried on top of each other just goes way down.
Yeah, keep going, cameraman. Yeah, ooh, I like it. So we had this.
That is hot right now, coming up with
all
stuff.
kinds of goofy. Well, anyway,
Kaya came up with some. I think that's Kaya, maybe not, but Kai Minora came up with undead bot flies lay undead eggs inside people, and as they hatch and burrow into their ride, they eventually get to the spinal cord and take over the poor creature.
Well, that is
gross.
horrifying.
You should submit that. Okay,
Yes.
so the wars. This is to give you an idea of how big these forces were. This was not small, right? So this is actually an image of the that I found, but it really gave us a good feeling. Excuse me, for the sacking of Covenant, right? So this is wonderful. Keep going, cameraman. And of course, we spoke of the charnel, right? It's just everywhere,
Yes,
right?
it's everywhere.
Just, oh my goodness, can you imagine? Keep going, cameraman. And the ruins that are there, where the feral undead would be, and of course, right across the river, which is what we wanted to give an idea when you're looking at this image. All right, cameraman, keep going. And of course, you go to these towns, right, that are maybe not necessarily populated as much, but they have, this. They even have. You look at the ground, right? There's bones and skulls, and it's insane.
And they're not risen yet. Or you'll have the town crier hanging from one of the posts there. He shouts out the advertisements as you walk into town. I mean, it sounds a little silly, but the undead kind of have their own sense of morbid humor.
And they've got they've got a society they've got to maintain. So
exactly, pay good money for advertisement. Well, not money, but they pay something for advertisement.
Something.
Yeah.
Keep going, cameraman. Yeah, I think about what they pay. Keep going, cameraman. So there's a wonderful image of a bunch of zombies coming at you, as the walkers, right, coming to you, and this is very common in the vile desolation, and particularly in the fields of the dead. So if you're adventuring across there, right, you have to be careful, because you could literally be run under, right, by a couple hundred walkers that are just ravenous for your flesh, right, Alexander?
Yeah, and I mean, and as you look at this, you got to consider that Kalnavik is really the first person to really bring arachnoids and humans together, in an alliance. He's way ahead of Magdranog and the Republic in that regard. He has all these old tensions are put aside. They're all working together now.
Yeah, that's right. He's all right. So
does Kalnavik have undead dragons? Well, there are certainly some dragons that have died within the Vile Desolation, though what became of them, no one knows yet. But it would be a poor bet to count them gone.
Yeah, there's a story that you can read in the Essenver that speaks a little bit to this, I think. So we'll let that go. Keep going.
It's actually just a timeline thing, but yes.
Yeah, it's a timeline, yes.
The Gloomendine. Oh yes, this will be fantastic.
So the Gloomendine is a very interesting place. Go ahead, cameraman. Let's look at the map. So the Gloomendine is way to the east, and it is probably one of the more interesting places on West Verdestia. And the reason why the Gloomendine is so interesting is because I saw Jen put up earlier. She said that the one we were looking at, the one forest, the Wraithwood, looked a little fey. But really, when you look at the southern Gloomendine, go ahead, cameraman, you take us to the next image. When you look at it, it really has a very sort of dark fey kind of a feel. And the reason for that is because there is a host of undead faerie in this forest, right? Go ahead, Alexander. Tell us a little lore.
Yes. So I'll give you. So there was once there were two courts within this forest, an unseelie court and a seelie court. And they were facing substantial devastation at the hands of the arachnoids. And it is rumored that they received a visit from a very informed individual of an undead status who gave them some advice on what to do to go forward, and it resulted that they performed rituals and actually sacrificed their wild heart, and it returned as an undead wild heart, as not even the wild hearts die. And that court is now led by by I think it's the Corpse King, as he has crowned himself. But the most terrifying part, and the part that scares every faerie to their core, is that once it came back, it consumed and cannibalized the other wild heart that is within that was of the Seelie court, and they were cast into almost entirely mindless undead, as they themselves were consumed with the death of their wild heart. And nothing of this caliber, of this severity, has ever occurred before or since. The wild hearts really don't they're they can be turned evil or good. They don't fight each other so much, but for one to consume another one is truly horrific.
Yes, and Kerry, of course, helped us with that lore tremendously,
Yes.
And really was the driver of that. After that goofy conversation we had that one day, which was really wonderful. It was fun, just so fun to see this stuff blossom, right?
Carrie and Jen are going back and forth in the chat about living, if you could even live in here. Yeah.
Let's keep going. Let's look at the next slide.
It does look enchanting.
So, it does.
So yeah, it's scary though. There's things going on there.
You have twisted and undead treants here. This is where you really have the undead fey creatures. So you have where you might normally have satyrs or boggins or other things like that, or flog boggins. Yeah, leprechauns. You have these twisted versions that are undead now. So he might be after your gold or he might be after your fingers. So we'll just have to see.
Keep going, Cameron Mendy. And of course, this is the AJ made this. This is a necrophagia, which is an undead giant spider, right? So that this is not just, as we've discussed, it's not just it's not just hominids, right? Which is the gross term we use for all of the high races, the intelligent races, the hominids, which includes everybody, right? But also creatures, and of course this thing, and these things are fast. And AJ submitted this as a very, very cool monster. And
there are even some rumors that within the Vile Desolation, and even here, there are some creatures that would be classified as undead that find an ability to reproduce without needing to cannibalize previously living creatures.
Whoa!
Which is truly terrifying.
Whoa!
Yeah. See what happens with that in the future. Keep going, Karen.
Oh, can you imagine if this is the mama?
I know. And her undead babies.
The eggs.
Oh.
Well, we have seen that before, actually. Like chapter 1.
And of course, there are Bogomen, right? Which are which are very terrifying construct creatures that have been warped by the undead energies that are there and the corrupted energies that are there.
Yes, and you have creatures of shadow and other immaterial things that have been warped by almost manifestations of the it's not quite accurate, but I'll say the dreams of the wild heart. The forces that are there have truly warped what was once present. Yes, but they're not the only players in the Gloomendine.
Don't overhang the market.
We'll get there very quick.
Keep
I know.
Going,
I have the script.
Oh, that's right. I gave it to you at a time. No, look at how organized I am.
I know.
Right? Go ahead.
Well, it was 1 minute before we started. But
that's okay, right? I said, listen, it doesn't matter.
So we have this wonderful.
You know all this stuff. You're all right. So this is we did a couple pieces of artworks of Feyari that had been afflicted, right, by the undeath. And I just wanted to show a couple of them to folks because I know a lot of new folks haven't seen these at all because I showed them a long time ago. Keep going, Cameron Mendy. So this is that's an unseelie, but then here is the sealie, right? Because they are not together, right?
Yes, they have been aligned. The vast majority of the sealies are they're much less intelligent or much more mindless than their unseelie counterparts. But yes, they are one court now, and there are still some of those that are in fact quite sentient, but they are very dangerous now. They have been truly warped.
Indeed. Keep going, Cameron Mendy, please. There's another one. This is an unseelie again, and just to give you that idea. But there's also some people.
Look at that marvelous bone sword.
Yes, it's so good. And there are also keep going, Cameron Mendy. So, some of these are Fazud and all that stuff. Oh, I guess it didn't get in there. It's okay.
Yes, most of them are those intelligent ones. You would be considered Fazud if they were not, some other form of lich or Sow lich or something like that. But most of them are Fazud.
So now in the center of the Gloomendine, and this is an important tale, right? Because Kalnovich is not unopposed. The Lich is not unopposed.
Indeed.
And and that's part of the when you're making worlds, right? You want to have tension, right? You don't want to have sort of this one group is just totally dominant and they walk all over everybody because that's no fun, right? The fun is in the tension and the battling and the back and forth and rebels and all of this kind of stuff. So in this place called the Black Teeth. There's a place. Go ahead, Cameron Mendy. There's a castle.
And, yes, well, maybe more the ruins of a castle, but
yes, maybe the ruins. Yes, in the Black Teeth. And it's interesting because there's a little tension between Kalnovich and the Feyari, the undead Feyari, right, Alexander? Because in the middle of their forest is this castle, and we're not going to talk about who's there yet, but you can talk about the Feyari and kind of what's going on a little bit.
Well, yes, the Feyari are they are vassals of Kalnavik, but they have enough influence that they are able to give him a little bit pushback. And he has to really try. He has to put in some effort to manage that relationship, or they really will. They have enough to cause him some serious problems. But he has to be careful of the concessions he gives to them as well. And what we'll talk about in a moment is actually one sore spot, because he feels they have not taken sufficient action to combat the threats that both of them face. He feels that they need to do more.
Go ahead, cameraman. Well done, Alexander. We did not overhang it. So this is Krun, yes? So Krun is a half-orc from Magdranog, right, Alexander?
Yes,
in the battles, right? It was in the battles.
A proper warlord, in fact.
Yes.
A warlord in her own right. And well, would you like me to talk on her?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes.
Don't give it all away, right? Yes, absolutely.
All right, so I can go for it. I can go and all right. So she is as you can see, she's a vampire. And she was not always a vampire. In fact, she was once a very staunch warrior, or she was very much against Kalnavik and his undead and that stuff, and she led several attempts to reclaim portions of it. All of them ultimately failed. And in her final route, she was offered salvation from someone who turned out to be a vampire in the service of Lord Kalnavik. But with her ingenuity, she now is no longer under that pressure.
She ain't no thrall, right, Alexander?
No, she is not. And she has committed herself to causing problems for the Lich Lord, and she runs this sort of band of guerrillas that run, this. She has this. As I said, she runs a vicious guerrilla campaign against Lord Kalnavik, though her influence is very, limited. She has only really succeeded in making annoyances for him. However, she still is alive, and has been so for over a century. So she is obviously doing something right. But she has not been able to strike a true blow against him. However, her real threat comes from her ability to confer with Magdranog and the Republic. However, that being said, and she is incredible, but with her warband, it would not do to say that she is, allied with either Magdranog or the Republic. There is much factionalization here. She has even had splinter groups off of her own group.
Correct.
There are the Gloomendine is a complex area politically. There are a number of factions, and you'll see that with the Vile Desolation. There are many factions, though most of them are aligned into specific groups. There is a lot of factionalization, so certain actions could really splinter that region.
Keep going, cameraman.
I'm just going to give a shout out because Jen pointed it out. The strong female characters I am here for. I think that all the ladies can agree that seeing a nice female badass is inspiring.
We have many of them.
That's what I'm saying. I'm giving you the kudos right now.
we got our Wraith Queen, and we got Krun. And
I'm loving it. Yes. That's one thing that I love about Gooey Cube.
She has serving her. She
does. Right? And vampire thralls.
Yes.
No, it's great to see female heroes, female villains. Like, it's awesome. So,
and some you don't know which one they are.
Yeah, that's right. You just don't know.
Yes, these are some of our dwarvish.
Yes.
Yeah, our dwarvish and Grund. Yes, the previous one was dwarvish.
Yes, correct.
And there is actually a surprising dwarvish population within there of Fazud. There's actually a substantial construction under Covenant, where there was once a dwarvish city, and even under the Vile Desolation itself, there is an extensive network of tunnels that have been created so that Kalnavik can move his armies and supplies without them being facing the sun, essentially.
Some are worried that he has tunnels driving into Magdranog and into the Republic.
Far under. I mean, he is connected to the Underdelve. He does extensive trade with the denizens of the Underdelve. Yes.
All right. Yes, keep going, cameraman.
Yes.
I'm just trying to keep us on time.
No, yes. Keep moving. We're already a little over.
Slide? Well, then we will just.
There we go. Perfect.
Go back to Krun real quick because I really like that.
Yes, that is fantastic artwork.
Yeah, right there. Yes. So, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this wonderful tour. I hope it gave you much information about this marvelous locality of the Vile Desolation. Alexander, thank you, my friend.
Of course, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, it was great to have you. And, I do wonder if because of the technical difficulties, because it happened both weeks when you were here. So
I know.
That's because you wanted a remote guest.
Blame it
Look,
on
it's
you.
because you have
wanted
the
a
remote guest, all right?
and music, a remote guest and music,
It's just my,
and an in studio. Thank you, Alex.
Like I'm just
for having
so
me.
awesome. It makes the
Yes, that's right.
Exactly. It makes everything go on the
Zoom.
fritz. It can't deal with my my presence of personality there.
It's like that little girl in Stranger Things, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my
It's kinda, everything goes on the fritz. All right.
I appreciate you so much, Alexander.
Of
My
course.
friends,
Well, thank you, baby.
We all do, Alexander. You're marvelous. And Camera Mandy, we all love you. All right, my friends. So listen, we're gonna get out of here. We did it. Almost did it. We almost ended on time. So I apologize for being a little long. Camera Mandy, you get to say it today. May all your
adventures be sticky.
Ha ha.
Ah.